Today I try to improve my flicks in CSGO by practicing them for a week. The map I used is called Aimbots. Link to the workshop page of the map in description. The settings I used are shown in the screen and how to set them up. Show impacts helps you see your past mistakes and stays there for a while. Headshot only helps you with one taps, and in a game like CSGO hitting headshots are key, unless AWPing. I set the target amount of kills for myself to 1000 but feel free to increase or decrease to your liking. I removed 3 quadrants and opened a way to access the final one where I flick in 360 degrees. So, day 1 of my flick training. I use the map Aimbots to practice for the past week. I started off strong, but then immediately felt slow and inconsistent. And boy, this is something you don't want to be happening in your games, whiffing all your shots, especially as the main AWPer. I hit my 100th kill at 130, which doesn't feel that bad. I don't know the averages for it. It would be nice to know what it is, so if you know please comment me it. At my 300th kill my arm and wrist started to feel very tired. I thought it would remain like this for most of the training, which wanted me to stop so I no longer have to endure this pain, but I continued. This pain also slowed me down drastically and I had to take multiple shots to even hit a single target then kill them. I hit my 500th kill at 741. I struggled to pinpoint when this happened, but my hand felt all fine after some time. This encouraged me to continue even if I get more pain, because I know that my hand would somehow magically feel untired. This is my personal experience and take for granted might not be the same for you. However, you should strive to continue. There was a sudden battle between pain and tiredness against my arm feeling alright. This kept happening over and over again, but the more this happened the less and less the pain lasted in me. There isn't much to say on my experience doing the first 1000 kills after my 750th kill. I hit my 750th kill just at 11:43. Here are my results, with me finishing the 1000th kill just at 15:19, with my shots per kill being at 1.63, which shows that I struggled to hit every shot. Finishing at 15:19 felt weird, because Aimbots, the map, averaged it to finish at around 20 minutes. I began asking myself 2 main questions. Should I be doing less kills, but more instances of the training? Should I be practicing my flicks with an AWP? I knew what I was going to do the following day. I had to test these out the very next day to see if it affects performance. I was expecting it to help out, as you should be building up muscle memory for shorter instances as battles don't tend to last that long. However, I also thought that it wouldn't matter, or take longer to build the muscle memory up, as longer instances means better endurance, and the better ranked you are, the more tougher the opposition is, so you need to be able to stay consistent for longer. If both of these theories were to be true, then I would suggest doing 1000 kills for about 5 instances then slowly increase that over time. This isn't the best solution, as you cannot rely on just aim to win games. You need to practice your other skills as a team player, which tends to be more valuable. If you use a zoom sensitivity of 0.8 then a single zoom on all the sniper rifles would remain the same. I am not entirely sure about the double zoom on the sniper rifles, as they all vary with the AWP having the highest magnification. Neither entirely sure about scopes with the AUG and the SG553. All I can say is that you really shouldn't be using the scope to fight a duel in close to middle range. At a longer range it is wise to use the scope and hit one-tap headshots, but if you are forced to spray down, then you should have the advantage on the enemy. This is day 1 and I went straight into matchmaking after this. Well, outside of making this script, which now I have to do for all tests to keep it fair, I felt physically and emotionally tired while playing competitive and just didn't want to continue. Not much else I can say about my experience with matchmaking that stood out after training. In case you don't believe that I finished the 1000 kills, I will leave you with the rest of the clip.
So day 2, I decided to do 4 instances of 250 kills. The first thing I felt was that I was faster. I was being more consistent, but I was still messing up my shots. Overshooting and unable to make the little adjustments. This is particularly why you shouldn't copy other players' sensitivity. Disabling mouse acceleration and turning on raw input helps with consistency. In a game like CS:GO, low sensitivity helps with accuracy. However, finding a balance between good movement and accuracy is difficult. Using a higher DPI might feel too extreme, but it reduces pixel jumping. At lower resolutions, this is more visible compared to higher ones. But there is also a point where it becomes unnoticeable. During my second instance, I felt slower and started to feel less and less inconsistent. My hand was getting tired, and that cost me to take 20 seconds longer to complete the second of my 1000 kills. This really confused me on why this was happening, maybe because of how short my breaks were in between. Then it hit me. Doing one instance but a big amount of kills takes longer to build endurance overall, but doing shorter instances builds consistency in shorter parts, that you can slowly increase. This ensures you aren't going over the top, without getting no performance boosts, even though you can. Instance 3 felt more faster, but I was unable to stay that fast during the whole instance, which is why you should make sure that you can. Even thought I felt more faster, I was still overshooting, undershooting and shooting way too early. This unconsciously made me go slower and slower, so I don't make these mistakes. Even though it may be slower, it is better than you are able to hit the target, rather than not hitting them at all. What if they didn't react in time, so you could land your shot, but it be slower? With this slowness, I still beat the time taken on my first instance by 3 seconds. I know for a fact that I was much slower in my last instance, finishing under 4 minutes. I kept overshooting and undershooting more often than not. This is where I began to feel most tired. Different sensitivities tend to make the player feel less or more tired. The higher the sensitivity, the less tired you would feel, but when making micro adjustments, then your hand tends to struggle and messes up. This is why training your endurance would help in this situation, and all of the others. If you are unable to make the quick micro adjustment, then you are probably dead, as the other player should be able to react, and as you are trying to hit a one-tap, you are probably standing or crouching still. This is why spraying might be the better alternative than going for a one-tap. Different mouse grip styles also affect tiredness, aim and control. This might not be 100% accurate for you, but this tends to be what the statistics say, so we are going with that. Palm grip comes out to be the most comfortable, but is less accurate. Claw grip comes out to be the most accurate, but least comfortable for longer sessions. Fingertip grip comes out to be the greatest control, and has a more natural feel, however this is the most tiring out of the three, which is what we are trying to remove for the most part with endurance. There might be some other grip that I have no idea of, but this is all I really know. Mouse shape and structure affect aim, but that comes down to personal preference, and I don't really have any advice, and if I search it I know I can make a video of it. After this I took a break, then went to matchmaking after. During matchmaking, I didn't feel as tired as before. I was able to hit a lot of shots and was confident in hitting them. Over time though it slowly decreases and I wasn't up to par in hitting my shots. During the editing of day 3 my recording were corrupt. I couldn't go and re-record it all as it would mess with my experience. I decided to try do 10 instances of 100 kills. I didn't get tired at all. If something like this happens to you, then you should go to the next step up and either do 4 instances 250 kills and slowly increase the difficulty. My sniping aim were on point with just a single zoom. For the most part, I didn't use the double zoom as you really shouldn't be requiring massive flicks with them. With my matchmaking experience, the double zoom was only to hold angles I was certain they were going to push. If I was alone to hold that angle I would basically never use the double scope unless peeking. With the AUG and SG 553, I was doing the same, basically doing the same thing. For holding a sight, watching longer angles with the scope can benefit you greatly instead of a close angle. For example, on Dust 2 holding long instead of cat/short.
In day 4 I was unable to practice. I was busy doing my work as coronavirus has had a major effect in the UK, forcing it to go into a lockdown. I wanted to do some matchmaking, because I had a tiny bit of break, but I knew other people would not believe me being busy and I would have just been lazy. I felt like it wasn't right to be doing the practice right in the morning, as this was not just a test to improve skill, but also an experiment to see how the best way to practice is. Day 5 was the consequence of day 4. On day 5 I decided to do 2 instances of 500 kills. This would have half the endurance of one instance of 1000 kills, but more consistent than 1000. Since I did not practice due to coronavirus and me having to do work, my flicks were very slow and was over and undershooting my target, with an average of 3 shots per kill. Some people may be thinking that I skipped both day 3 and 4, but please listen that on day 3 my recordings were corrupted and day 4 I was busy. In my first instance, I was hitting a couple of nice flicks with an average of 5 headshots to 7 headshots. Compared to my first session on day 1, I was about 6 seconds faster to finish 500 kills. In my opinion, I think it was due to some psychological factors. On my previous days I was flicking much faster, but in reality I was messing up my shots more often and now I was hitting them more consistently. My shots per kill before was 1.63 but now it was 1.53. This might seem like a small improvement, but it is quite major as it shows there is more one-shot kills instead of anything higher. This might not be 100% accurate, as 1000 kills is 2 times more than 500. In my second instance, I was feeling the same. However, my arm started to get tired, and it shows in how long it took me to finish. This was also the instance where I was not able to hit as many shots, however I got a better shots per kill of 1.56. I was also getting screwed over by the hit reg on the source that Valve uses for CSGO. If you could rewatch the video to see how many times screwed over by hit reg and comment it down, as it would be something nice to know. Even though I wasn't hitting bigger flicks, there wouldn't be as many moments where huge flicks are required. Even requiring flicks is very rare, as you should be watching angles where people push through. In matchmaking, I rarely needed to flick at all, but when I did, I was hitting almost every flick. In my honest opinion, you should do at least 1 or 2 instances of a certain amount of kills that you get tired at. For example, I tend to get tired at the 250 mark, so about 1 to 2 instances of 250 kills. Day 6 and 7 was practically the same. Believe me when I say this, but I continued to practice. I spent these days editing for the video and creating the thumbnail. All I can say at this point is that you shouldn't focus on one aspect all the time. Even though I said that I practiced my flicks for a week, I still had to train the rest of my skills. This would definitely be a reoccurring thing in future videos in this style, but it is highly important to improve as a player overall. I know I have already said this many times, but it is something I cannot exaggerate. I enjoyed this experiment and learnt a lot while doing so. If you want to see more of these types of videos, then subscribe and like. If not, then comment down what you would like to see me to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this videos to anyone who you think that could benefit from watching this video.